Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed me.
Good morning. I got to talk down in the basement today because I'm still dealing with the dirty truth. But I'm just going to say this because it's getting better. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it is. I am talking about, all this going on here. I don't let it stop me. As long as my eyes open and my legs work, I'm going to make it work. I don't care if I got to hold up signs or learn sign language. I'm good with it. Listen, are you good with it? Let me tell you something. Whatever's going on in your world today, good, better, best, or something else, let me tell you something. It is there for a divine reason. So do something with it, no matter what it is, because you know what I know, and I'm sure you know it too. God doesn't make mistakes. He merely keeps this journey interesting. Can I have an amen from you? Can I get one? There we go. Good morning. I hear you out there. Welcome to today's episode, Thursday, of Bathrobe Moments. I'm so excited. We are in our fourth day. That means me, your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and our guest today, back again, getting up early. Prophet Lovemores here from South Africa, and also Apostle Steve Sigram from the Seattle area. We have been raising awareness, ringing the bell, and hopefully raising $1 or $2. We really want like 10,000 of them. Pray it into existence. We're trying to help over in South Africa, where one vision, one voice, one heart, one group, one mind, one spirit, just like the promise where two or more of us comes together. Steve Sigram, look at this, and his nonprofit, which is One Vision, One Heart. They're using everything they can. They need all that we can do to help. Here, I'm back here. Just want you to know, don't get scared. I'm still here. To help this mission, over 10,000 people, if you've been watching all week, over 10,000 people have already made their way to the registration center in South Africa. We're going to talk more about that again today, to register for whatever is coming. And a lot of what gets there is in our hands. Okay, we get to pay it forward. So let's start right now by doing the easy part, sharing out this broadcast. Just share it out with one other person. It takes one person. I mean, if this ended up somehow in, let's say, Elon Musk's or Oprah Winfrey's feed, and they were touched, which I know they will be, should it get there. Maybe I should say when it gets there. One check could take care of all this. Don't ever underestimate the power that we create, the force that we send out when we come together in agreement. I was going to say something else, but God said, shut up. That's it right there. There it is. When we come together in agreement, Ashe, it is done. So today I want to get them in here, and I'm going to start. We were going to have Maureen Flatley. Now, she's from Capitol Hill. I have her scrambling, trying to get some data or some Wi-Fi. She is always somewhere in the world fighting for better conditions for children everywhere. That's why we wanted her here today, but she's trying to get some Wi-Fi. Doesn't look good, but we're going to try. Oh, before I get you guys back in here, God's blessings are just everywhere. Yesterday, this was released. The Courageous Men cover came out. I'm really excited. Got a little 2-page article in there talking about how I got out of my own way when I used to sit in procrastinationville and say to myself, why should I try to do this thing? Why would anyone want to listen to me? I still say that more than you would probably imagine. But the thing about it is, even if you cannot speak, if you believe that there is something greater than you, and you give it permission, thy will be done, it will speak for you, through you, as well as to you. I'm telling you what I know. So there it is. Thank you, publisher Talicia, Dr. Talicia, over at Courageous Women, Courageous Men magazine. Yes, that's my girl from Flint. Thank you, Talicia Berry, Dr. Talicia Berry. So let's get the guys in here. Here he comes, Prophet Lovemore from over in South Africa, on the ground there, and Apostle Steve Sigram. Virtual applause, if you will, in the form of hearts. Let's blow it up. Here they come. Well, all right. Prophet Love, you're getting more and more savvy with this television thing every day. You look like you've been doing it all your life. How you doing this morning? How are things in South Africa?
Well, yeah, actually, my passion is actually media. And I was actually talking with Apostle Steve. I was like, you know what? This is a good way to be able to use media because there's a lot of crazy that's out there. But when we have good causes like this one that we have today, we know that, when the right information gets the right heart with the right ears, the impact that it makes is going to touch generations. I loved it. I loved one of the things that you said in your intro because I'm one given to detail, and especially if it's on a video or it's on a clip, I will hear it. You said something in the introduction when you were standing behind the TV screen there. You said you were pointing to the time. I think it was a watch or a clock somewhere there. And you
Yeah.
said, your DNA is going to go, your fingerprints, all of that is going to go back, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. But it is your words that people are going to remember you with. And for me, that really makes this recording become so much of a weapon, because if anything is to happen to any three of us, right, or even all of us right now,
That's right.
anything can happen. We are gone. But the next person who's going to hear your heart, and especially most importantly in today's broadcast, the heart of Apostle Steve, they will be able to pick it up. That's what Habakkuk says: write the vision down
Yeah.
and make it plain upon tables, so that he who comes and reads it will be able to run with it. So this is very powerful what we're doing right here. And that's why I'm very excited about today's broadcast. And I know that whatsoever is going to be recorded today is going to touch someone's life, and it's going to inspire another visionary to do exactly what Apostle Steve Sucrum has done with One Vision, One Heart here today.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Can I get one from y'all now? I see why your prophet loved one. Sorry, Ethel, my cat. I rang the bell. She flew out of here. Sorry, girl. Listen, I want to tell you guys too, because well, you two know about it because I told you backstage. Well, listen to this, y'all. I'm going to show you. This morning, I got home from the health club, so I'm getting everything ready for this. And I see an email from YouTube talking about, you broke our community standards and you have a strike for 24 hours. You can't upload or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, for what? And I go in and it says that yesterday's show, same as what today's is about, they said that it went against their community standards for child safety. And when I sent back, I started getting mad, but then I heard, "Oh, how I love Jesus" is playing in the background. So I got it together and I prayed my way up to a better response, which was, "Are you kidding me?" But listen to this. Seriously, AI, it was some AI, because look, not even 5 minutes later after I, of course, appealed, because I look at that as negative forces trying to stop what we're doing, slow down what we're doing. And I just told, look, after taking another look, we confirmed that your content does not violate our community guidelines. Patience. Well, I didn't have to use patience because you did it almost immediately. And why is that? I'm going to tell you why, you guys. There's a lesson in that. It's never about just one thing. How do I get this off the screen? I'm trying to get rid of that. So, wait, I want to really get rid of that. Okay, there. So here it is. Easy peasy. You saw that right there. Now, some of us may have just said, well, I'll just take my medicine. Oops, sorry. But if it doesn't make sense to you, anything, when it doesn't make sense to you, it's because it has absolutely zero to do with you. That's something else trying to do something else. So you push back, you rebuke it, you banish it. You don't just sit there and let it. This world we live in, listen, y'all, it is a battlefield. Let me just let that hang out there for just a moment, because somebody needs to hear this today. And I don't mean just a battlefield like in Ukraine. I don't mean a battlefield just in our everyday lives where we are, what I can see and touch. I'm talking about a spiritual battlefield. Y'all better get right with it now, because it's real. I'm telling you what I know. So listen, don't be afraid. Fear drives nothing but people crazy. That's right. Kick it out the car. Don't let it ride in the back seat. All things that do not serve you must go. Don't forget that. So, listen, since Maureen Flatley most likely can't get um, any Wi-Fi, let's start by taking a look at this little piece. Today, we want to talk on more of a global level first, and then we're gonna ease our way back into what's really going on over with Prophet Lovemore and those 10,000 plus people. But here's something this is pretty deep. G7 leaders. This is a little thing, and if you notice, look at that. June 24th. That seems like just the other day. Listen to what they had to say about what's going on in this world. This is from UNICEF. With child hunger and the nutrition crisis.
Global hunger crisis is pushing one child into severe wasting every minute in 15 of the most affected countries. UNICEF is appealing for $1.2 billion to meet the urgent needs of 8 million children suffering from severe wasting in these 15 countries. Unless they receive immediate therapeutic food and care, these children could die. Last month, UNICEF warned that the rapid rise in severe wasting, in addition to already high levels of child malnutrition, is a virtual tinderbox. We're now seeing that tinderbox begin to catch fire, especially in the Horn of Africa and the Central Sahel. It's hard to describe what it means for a child to be severely wasted, but when you meet a child who's suffering from this most lethal form of acute malnutrition, you understand and you never forget. Food aid is critical, but we cannot save starving children with bags of wheat. We need to reach these children with therapeutic treatment now. World leaders gathering in Germany for the G7 ministerial have a small window of opportunity to save these children's lives. There is no time to waste. Waiting for famine to be declared is waiting for children to die.
Now, that was deep. I took Steve out because he was on the phone. I saw you. And mute that loud phone. That thing scared me. I almost fell out of my chair when it went. So I just said, because I'm 60. Don't take much. Don't take much. Listen, severe wasting. I have never heard that terminology. Have either of the two of you?
Mm-mm.
Severe wasting.
Never heard of that. No, severe wasting.
I had neither. So it's not just about malnutrition anymore. There is a layer beyond that, which she just spoke to. Severe wasting. What about you guys out there? Are you familiar with this? So, Prophet Lovemore, I was paying close attention to you when it was playing, especially when they talked about the Horn of Africa and this and the other. Can you tell us, because there are places even worse than where you're at. Right there in the country of Africa. Have you seen any of that up close and personal? And then I want you to talk about how this is what I never thought about until just now when I saw that piece. That the people that traveled, the 10,000 plus, that traveled to register with you, I never thought that there could be people in the same country that those people that traveled to you look at and go, boy, I'm glad I don't have it as bad as them. There are people worse off, right?
Right. Because some of these people don't even have the technology, right? Because, we are here on Facebook Live and on certain platforms right now, and others are going to do the replay, right? But most of the people that actually need this food aid are the ones who are going to hear it maybe 2 months or 3 months down the line because they can't even afford a cell phone. So that's why I loved what you said yesterday. And even with Apostle Steve, we say this is just the beginning, right? So this is just the beginning, but when the wind begins to blow, right, the real beneficiaries who are going to come out of the shadows, I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. Actually, what I've done this upcoming Saturday, we've got a training that I'm going to be, having with the guys at the church and some of the volunteers on how we are going to be able to handle, the influx of people who are going to come knocking on the doors of our church after the event. Because remember, the government has promised and it didn't deliver. Right. So now it's coming, one vision, one heart, and not only are they professional in what they are doing, but they spoke it and they moved quickly. So who should we believe? Let's believe these guys. And if I got something now, when are they coming back? So already right here we have a chain reaction. And like what you said, that there are people in Africa, that have it bad. I still remember a couple of years I had the privilege to go and minister in Mozambique. And when I went to Mozambique, I really saw that there's no diapers. When you're looking at the children, they are so far away from the nearest clinics or hospitals, right?
Yeah.
So there, if anything happens with you, there's malaria there. If the child gets sick, it's one of the two things. Either you just pray about it and trust God, or you're going to bury a child. So I loved what that lady said. She said something that's so powerful. She said, when you wait, yes, she said, when you wait for a famine to be declared, it means you're just waiting for a child to die.
Waiting for a child to die, which is the equivalent of human sacrifice. Mm-hmm. I'm just putting it down. That's exactly right. I used to think that human sacrifice meant like they stole somebody or put somebody on an altar and cut them open and drank their blood or ate their heart or something. The stuff they show you in the movies. No. I know today for a fact that human sacrifice is whenever we pretend we don't see the pain in someone else's eyes, when we pretend we don't see the hunger or the need, and we just walk on, well, glad at least it ain't me. I'm barely making it myself. Don't look to me to help. I don't know what that's going to turn out to be for those who do that eventually, but I ain't trying to find out. I'll tell you that much, because I've been hungry, and I've only been, if I'm hungry for even an hour, I turn into hangry. So I can't even imagine what I would be like after 2-3 days. I just can't. And children, it's just, so listen, let's talk about this thing. That you mentioned, Prophet Lovemore, about people, organizations, government, churches, nonprofits, a lot of people. It's not just the government. I know this for a fact. And there are a lot of people running around under the umbrella of 501 or nonprofit or NGO, and they're doing it just to get a tax break, or they're doing it just to get their foot in the door. Like they're not doing, excuse me, I know it's apostle and prophet, but I'm just saying, they ain't doing shit. I'm just saying, I hate to cuss, but that's all some people understand. So there it is. But I'm just saying, tell what you were talking about. Explain when you said these people had their hopes up high. They said, the government said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. People here in the United States, you know what it feels like at COVID. What if they would have said, oh, you're going to get your little COVID money, and he never got it? Look how it would have affected people here. And we're not nearly dealing with what these people are dealing with, to be promised it, snatched away at the last second. So Prophet Lovemore, talk about what that did to break the spirits of the people you deal with every day, how they don't trust, they don't believe, they're losing their faith in faith.
When you see someone who is in their 80s and they're in their 70s and their 60s, and they're looking at you and they have tears coming down their eyes, and they're just thanking you for a food parcel, a lot of things begins to go on in your mind. Like for me, for example, I was saying to myself that if this is a father or this is a mother who's crying like this for a food parcel, which you and me know that is never really going to change or impact their lives for generations to come, but they really looking at you as you are some kind of a savior. That means that right now we are living in a time and in a season where things are really, really out of order. And I looked at this men and women, and it wasn't just once, it wasn't just twice, it was almost 20 times each and every day. You are looking at these people's faces, and you can see that they really mean it. When you tell them that you need to be here at 8 o'clock, they are there 2 hours, 3 hours before. That means they really, really are trusting you. But the most painful thing that I saw was that I had to take, One Vision, One Heart, the website, and show it to the people. We had to show them the video of the Philippines, and I had to, we needed to convince them that this is so real, more than them just accepting that it's going to happen. Why? Because most of the people that have been campaigning, they did make false promises to these guys. And every time that they get into the doorstep, like you said, they move, they relocate, they no longer want to stay with these poor people. Now they go to the high end, good places, and now they're just ruling from there. And now here comes an organization that they've never had before.
Right.
And they're saying, we're going to do this in 3 months. And they're looking at us and they're saying it's a church. And it's the people, even up until today, there are people are still thinking that it's a scam. Why? Because when people really get hurt at their deepest core, they never believe you, even when you come with provision, even if it's right in front of their eyes. They would rather think that still after I eat this, what am I going to lose? Some of the people said, are these people registering us and offering food actually sent by the government so that after they give us food, they're going to force us to get vaccinated? So this is the kind of the mindset of the people that we have. It seems as if we need to convince them that we are real. Apostle Steve Sukram is a real person, and that's why what we're doing right here means a lot to me, especially to me, because just imagine, Dr. Lauren, you are a pastor in a region, and you've got 10,000 people's names in your database. And what will happen, to your church? What will happen to you if only 2 people get food parcels and the other plus, 9,800 and something people don't get anything? I mean, this literally faith on the line. You said yesterday, what Apostle Steve gave us down here in South Africa as a word, as a promise, it really is faith. And I'm telling you honestly, this is what it is. It's just to live by faith. But this right here is not only just faith, it's supernatural faith. And I pray that the people who are listening to me here would be able to understand that it's just 2 weeks, and we need to make sure that these people, these souls who are really looking up to us, we can never get to a point where we just do them dirty like all the other people that have, because they have a long track record of just being thrown under the bus. So they really are looking forward. I could tell you
something actually happening. They're really looking forward. Yeah.
Tomorrow I know. Today I actually came from church before I came here, and we always get at least 10, 15 people just coming in to say, is it really happening? When is the food parcels coming in? Because they feel like, let me continually go to the church. Even if I go there 3 times a week, let me continually come there, because I want to make sure that I will not miss my parcel, just in case this is the day they're going to deliver, and I wasn't there to receive the food.
Wow. It's like it's everything that pops in their head, to save their opportunity. Now, listen, Steve, because I know you got to be feeling something. And listen, Steve, I want you to respond to this. But I tell you what, I sit there and I go, I'm glad I ain't Steve. Man, that pressure. What made him say, it's like my grandmother used to say, mouth done wrote a check that his ass can't cash. Like you overpromise, and then people think you're going to underdeliver. Talk about how you're able to do this, Steve, because this ain't the first time. You've done it before 2 other times, Pakistan, Philippines. You did it through the same door. This unconditional faith. And faith in and of itself is unconditional, but I mean, you really take a big bite at it. Why and how?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, go into that.
Okay. So Prophet Lovemo and I, we, as we were looking at the need and talking about it months ago, it was in prayer. And so I knew I wasn't going to make a move until I get a check from God, meaning, well, in a literal sense too, but a check in my spirit.
Right.
And so I had someone that actually said, hey, I will help. I will help. I'll write a check. We'll get this thing started. And Prophet Lovemore kept asking, what should we say? What should we do? Should we start? Should we go? Should we? So they were waiting on me, and I'm waiting for a confirmation. So
Okay.
based on this individual saying, okay, yes, we will help, right? I gave him the go and say, okay, we've got, at least we got some help coming. So let's go ahead and let everyone know we're coming. Now, that same individual, I had to send a voice message last night and say, look, because I haven't received it. And I said, I need you to know something, that this isn't about me, and it never will be about me. It's about those people. It's about, us truly being a blessing. It's about us, stepping aside from ourselves and putting someone else first. It's about what we did in the Philippines when there was a need. I didn't question it. I didn't even have to pray about it. There was a need. And I just stepped in faith. I made a few calls. I said, hey, we have a need. Could you help? We got some donations. And I took what we got, and then I took from my own pocket and put in to take care of that need of those people. It's the same thing here in South Africa, right? It'll never be about me. It'll never be about what we're doing. Because, I realize now, that, when you give that word to those people, right? They're expecting, like Prophet Lamo said, they're expecting. And because they're expecting, yes, I stood out in faith, because I've always stood out in faith. I always took a step of faith. Faith without actions are dead, right? But one thing I want people to understand, I can't do this by myself. Prophet Lamo can't do it by himself. Lauren can't do it by himself. But together, collectively, we could come together. What we can't do alone, we could do together and make an impact. And so, so I hope that folks will hear, my heart, that, the time is close, and there is a need, there is an expectation, things are already prepared, and we just need folks to step out and just
step out. And I'm jumping in because I'm telling you, getting downloads right now as we speak. And you guys listen, here's what I want you to just take a chance on believing it's possible within your own sacred space. I know this to be true. So listen, tune in, lean in right here. Here it comes. You can never underestimate the power of the spirit in which you do something. That's the story of the widow's mite in the Bible, where she was hiding her little pittance, where everyone else was dropping their money from way up high, making a noise. Look at me. Look at me. She was told that little bit that she gave, you know the story. I'm telling you what you should know right now is this. Whatever you have, if you got one of those things with change you collect, take it to the Coinstar, cash it in, and donate that money. Watch what God will do in your life when you just trust. It is a story of the loaves and fishes. It is a story of the water turned to wine, meaning if you'll just trust me like I trust you and be a good steward, do something, it's always going to be better than nothing. $5, $1. Steve, tell them, Prophet Lovemore, $25 can make a dent, can make an impact in someone's life. Not just that meal, but their life, because you're helping them remember there are people who care. And here's the proof right in your hand. Talk about that, because people need to know why we need them. I don't think they get it.
Yeah. Dr. Lauren, like what you're saying, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And we have 10,000 people whose hearts right now are trusting the Lord right now and thanking God. There are other fathers and mothers right now who would be able to know that at least for the next coming month, I can be able to put food on my children's table and at least have a month where I don't have to think about what's going to happen, what are we going to eat, what are we going to, have in the morning or in the evening. And it gives a father and a mother the ability to go out and try to make other means. Why? Because they have that little energy that we have given them, knowing that at least now you can go and look for something else that can add another extra plate of food the next month, because this month we've got you covered. This is so powerful to me. And also, I just want to take this time to speak specifically for those men and women who are in business. Why do I say that? It's because when you look even in the Bible, you will see that God anointed a man. He sent him ahead, and his name was Joseph. It was so powerful that God anointed him and made sure that he was going to stop a famine from taking out an entire nation. He anointed him. He placed him in the most powerful position in the world because he knew that it needs a man who will have my spirit in them, who would be able to be touched by the 7 years of plenty and by the 7 years of famine. So there are men and women right now who have an abundance, who've got a surplus, and they have been asking themselves, but God, I just didn't do much marketing, but there's so much money coming in. I didn't do as much as I thought I would, but there's so much profits that's coming in. What's happening to me? And I'm here just to let you know that that was the 7 years of plenty that God was placing into your bank account, because he knew that today, this moment, and this hour is going to arrive where you are going to be that person who's going to sit down and say, this is how we're going to navigate the 7 years of famine. There are Josephs who are listening to me, and there are Joseph kind of women who are listening to me, and I'm here to let you know that the reason why God gave you an abundance in the previous year, the reason why God just gave you a $500 check the last month, is because he knew that it wasn't for you. We are blessed to be a blessing. That's what God says to Abraham. I'm going to bless you so that you can be a blesser. That means that when God really puts resources in your hands, he knows that you are a distributor. This is a higher level, and this is why we've got a lot of people whom, when people look at them, they're like, okay, this guy's got millions, this guy's got a lot of billions. Why is it they're not doing anything that has to do, in any philanthropy? They are not buying things. They're not. I'm not saying people with money should just dish it out, but something is always wrong when you are blessed and you hoard everything. You are not sending someone to school. You are not taking care of any family. You don't have widows under your belt. You don't have orphans under your belt. When you have an abundance, make sure that you do something with it. Why? Because God has blessed you to become a blessing, and this is good soil. This is a good opportunity, and this is one thing that I'll say about this opportunity. It is a sure way, a great way to close out 2022, because this is about to become like Christmas before Christmas even comes.
Man, Prophet Lovemore, shoot, I need to come visit your church, because, man, I see that, and Steve, I just got to, I'm like, excuse me, Steve, but I got to ask Prophet Lovemore something else. Prophet Lovemore, how do you do it? How do you get past the immediate broken person, as far as, I don't have any food, I don't have a winter coat, I don't have heat, I don't have a way to communicate from where I live, or whatever the challenge may be, in order to get to their soul, to feed their spirit? Because the one thing that's worse is, I think the worst thing that can happen is a person's spirit becomes broken. And you have double stuff to fix. How do you do it day after day after day after day?
Dr. Rodin, what I'm about to say right here is the secret to what I do, and that is one of the things that I saw in Apostle Steve, and I didn't need anyone to convince me otherwise. Never follow an unscarred general into a battle. The problem, and the number one reason why the food aid is not going to the intended beneficiaries, is because people who have never slept without eating are the ones who are in charge of this project. People who don't know what it looks like to be an orphan, people who don't know what it's like to be without a mother, to not have good education, to sleep in the streets. These are people that are just seeing the opportunity, but they're not understanding that if you don't have the story, you don't have the right and the capacity to be able to correct anything in anyone's life because you don't know what it's like. So for me, I know what it's like to be an orphan because I'm one. I know what it's like to sleep on the streets because I was there. I know what it's like to be this close to eating close to a dustbin. Why? Because I've seen it. I know what it's like to sit down and there's no hope. Why? Because when my parents passed away, the only thing that was left in our house was water and just a cabbage. And I still remember that entire year where there was no electricity. Why? Because we were so young. There was no water. The government came and turned off the water. Why? Because we couldn't afford it. So when I see things like this, I know that where God took me and where I am today, the fact that I'm just here sitting in the middle of Dr. Lauren and Apostle Steve, for me, it shows me that I didn't have a plate of food. I didn't have an opportunity. But when God gave me that one meal, that one opportunity, and I had hope and faith and expectation, I began to understand and I knew that I can take on the world if only I get one person who believes in me. So that's how I do it. I share my story and I tell the people, it doesn't matter where you are today. Tomorrow, you are going to be the leader. You are going to be the one who's going to be a distributor. And I strongly believe that that is what the prophetic is there for, to see a king inside of a shepherd boy. So when I look at these beneficiaries, they are not just stats for me. They are not just numbers for me. These are the next leaders. These are the next fathers. These are the next governors. These are the next. If you cannot see the greatness inside of someone who might be begging for food today, then God cannot send you to these people, because you need to have a heart, but you also need to have a story, so that when he sends you to Pharaoh and you want to tell him to let God's people go, he needs to have sent you. So when I saw Apostle, I knew that God sent him. And when I look at you, I know that you are that conduit that God trusted, that God knew. I'm telling you, when people look at this combination right here, they're going to ask themselves, how did these three people come together to be able to do this? And after all has been said and done, it's only God who receives all the glory, and it's only him who receives the praise. Why? Because we are of service. So if you don't have the heart for the people, you will never do anything for the people.
There it is. Listen, I agree. Steve, I'm going to let you start. When we come back, we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, I want us to take a look at, other than just these isolated areas that we've been concentrating on most of the week, and we're going to take a look at a mirror reflection on the other side of the world, where I actually am heading in just a few short months. Because if we don't look at the whole picture, we'll never understand how to find the entire answer. We'll be back. Don't go away. It's a great time to share out the broadcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
So what we saw right there speaks to the rising issue with orphans from the result of the war going on currently in the Ukraine, and myself and members from my team will be headed to Romania in the spring, focusing on those orphans in Romania from their issues, and then also the movement led by children in a village way up at the top of the country, one of the poorest areas, but they are responsible for more adoptions of children from the Ukraine, uh, orphans that is, than anyone else in the country. So it's just amazing what people who seem to have nothing are able to do. We're here today with Apostle Steve Sugrum, the founder of One Vision, One Heart and Dominion Air, and also Prophet Lovemore, who's on the ground in South Africa, where One Vision, One Heart will be making a trip over to bring some hope in the form of resources, food, and information. So, Steve, how is it going now? Tell us what it's like every day when you get up and
Mm,
the date to leave is moved closer to you, but it seems like the needle of fundraising hasn't moved that much.
mhm.
How do you get past
Well,
to get to the things you need to take care of every day?
well, trust me, there's been moments of crying, you know, crying out to God, and I'll tell you why I say that. I made a comment about someone making a promise, right, and triggered the green light, basically, right. And so, one of the things I've come to realize, a lot of us mean good, right? So we make that promise, many others have as well. But when it comes down to, what I realize is two things I want to touch on. Something you said earlier that's real, and I want to just bring an attention to it as well. But a lot of times, and even I do it. If I make a purchase, is it a want? Is it a need? Right? And while the intentions are good, they mean to, but then okay, do I need to, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. Maybe I can't give, I'll give next time. So they talk themselves out of what the spirit is telling them to do, right? A lot of times our flesh will, uh, you know, uh, overthrow the spirit of God.
Yeah.
Well, the spirit is tugging at us to do what we need to do. We let the flesh comes in and just talk us out of it, right? Oh, well, I'll go do this. And then you just kind of, it just slips your mind. Because I've spoken to many people that said, yes, 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 that we'll do it. And one thing you said earlier, and a lot of individuals that have opened up organizations for the cause, the 501c3 to give and help, are some of the ones that I've actually reached out to who, for whatever reason, can't. But yet I'm seeing pictures, on the yacht here, or they're taking trips here, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong on that point, right? But uh, behind me it says action speaks louder than words, and all you hear is the words, but there's no actions, no actions, no action. Just like faith is dead without works. You've got to put the work in, right? Believe in. And so for me, each day, I know the needle is drawing closer. And I'm just trusting, and I'm trusting, and these segments that we're doing, and your help, and that the hearts of people will be touched. They heard Prophet Lovell. He's on the grounds. He's on the grounds having to face these people eye to eye. I mean, every day, right? He's there. I'm here. I'm here. And so, without your help, this would not be possible. And Prophet Lovemore hit it, is that, we're blessed to be a blessing. And sometimes we may not see the small blessings. We just take it for granted, maybe. But
Yeah.
those blessings are for purposes for the ones who are watching, the ones who are listening, the ones who already maybe in the back of their mind, I've got to do something, I've got to help, I've got to give. But yet procrastinated, and now that thought is gone. Just take action. If God is telling you to do something, $5, $10, $25, $35, whatever it may be, just grab your phone, just do it, get it out the way. And at least you'll feel good in your spirit that you responded to the Spirit of God. You respond to the Holy Spirit and what you need to do or called to do. And in that way, it's out the way, you're blessed. And so I just wanted to share that with you, that just from my personal experience and me making phone calls, me talking to the individual, what I'm experiencing.
Amen. Amen. And I want to say, just like, we've heard about the issue in the Philippines this week, Pakistan this week, South Africa this week. Just now, we looked at a little piece about the Ukraine, and we've worked our way to right here, right in our own backyards, for those of us who live within the United States. Here, according to the Children's Defense Organization, last year, more than 1 in 7 children in our country, the United States, which equates to about 10.7 million kids, were what is referred to as food insecure, meaning they lived in households where not everyone had enough to eat. They say that these households also struggled to afford and access healthy meals, forcing them to rely on low-cost food in which to feed their children, skip meals, or in many cases, just simply go hungry. Of course, our underserviced populations, such as Black and Hispanic children, were twice as likely to live in these circumstances as white children, nearly 1 in 4 of children of color, whereas of not color, it's 1 in 11. So I put it like this. Doesn't matter to me if it's 1 in a million. That's 1 too many. That's 1 too many. And so I really let's talk to people about what you're going to be bringing. Talk about the bags again, the food parcels, because they look really big and packed. But as we learned early in the week, Prophet Lovemore, that bag will last a family of 4 or 5 for a week, right?
Right.
And there are no fresh vegetables in there. What is actually in there? We know there's grains and rice and the stuff we see on TV all the time. But what else is in there? And is there anything that people might be surprised are inside of those food parcels?
Yeah, one of the things that's really right now very, very, very important, and because of the rise of fuel all around, because of what's happening there, is cooking oil. Yeah,
Cooking oil.
Yeah, so there's 2 liters of cooking oil that we're going to be offering them there. So it's just imagine someone being able to come and say, I know you've got a car, but you can't go anywhere without gasoline. That's the same. Yeah. How are they going to cook these meals if they don't have cooking oil? Because right now, the majority of the people have actually opted just to cook their meals without it.
So you mean the oil that goes in the pan?
You're right.
Oh. So I hope this doesn't seem like a dumb question. What do most of the people, how do they cook? I mean, is it electricity? Is it generator? What are they cooking on? What kind of stoves? Whatever they do.
So now what's happening now in South Africa is also crazy, because now we are in a state where the whole of the country can't have electricity at the same time. So we're experiencing what we call here load shedding. So like now, it has already happened twice before I came here. And then in about 3 hours, I'm going to be with that power again for almost 2.5 to 3 hours again, because the whole of South Africa right now cannot be able to have electricity. So that means then if these people right now are going to be receiving the food parcels, be rest assured they don't even have gas stoves to be able to cook the food on. So now others have to literally walk for miles to be able to get firewood so that they can be able to cook some of these meals. So where they're staying, there's no electricity at all. That's why what Apostle Steve is going to be doing in the Philippines is very powerful, where there's need for electricity, which is going to be generated by solar power, solar energy. So I'm telling you, some of the pictures, if you see them, you're seeing water that's just coming out of these like mobile pit latrines, something like that, toilets. I mean, I know that, sometimes when people want to raise funds, they always put, these gross things and all that stuff. But let me tell you something. The whole of South Africa is not like Durban. The whole of South Africa is not like Cape Town. Not everything in South Africa is a tourist destination. 99.9% of the people flying into South Africa today would never want to spend even a single hour in some of these places that you're going to be reaching out to, because these are the people who are forsaken. These are the people who are lost. The only time they see a politician coming to them is when the politician wants a vote, and it's very simple. You vote for me, I'll put food on the table, and once the X is put on the ballot box,
That's it.
they have to wait for the next 5 years up until they get someone else who will come in the cycle.
More of the same. Listen, again, well, we have completed day number 4. We have one more day, but that's just to meet here to talk about this every single day. Moving forward, this issue is still going to be out there. So tomorrow, we are going to tie the week all together in one big finale, if you will. And so we're asking you to bring as many people with you tomorrow. We're going to push tomorrow like we haven't pushed at all. We're with everything we have. And then we're going to keep pushing even more beyond tomorrow. Join me, won't you please, as we come inside a sacred space yet again to make the promises, live up to the promise. And they've never let me down. Come tomorrow, won't you? 8 a.m. Central. I'll meet you, God willing, right out front on the front porch as we do it all again. Prophet Lovemore, I want to thank you. Apostle Steve, thank you. And thank all of you. On the screen is where you can donate, and also scrolling along, and I'll take the liberty of dropping it in the comment section immediately upon the conclusion of today's episode. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning for our final day together, and I'll see you too. Get out there today and be the blessing you'd like to see in the world. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.